Hello, how are you today? Hopefully, you've had a good day or are about to start a great day. One of the things that we love to do is to be in the flow. Now, how do you get into that state of flow? Many times, unfortunately, we are not there. We are thinking about something that we did before, and we start judging about how we've been doing. Did we do something right? Was it wrong? And our judging mind sets in very easily. Are always monitoring how we're doing things. And in the end, it's really about wanting to be accepted, wanted to be loved. And we think that that doesn't work. That just doesn't work if we're not doing well, if we've made mistakes. Then somebody might pick up on that mistake and judge you for it. Well, we all do some judging, whether aware or not, we do some judging. And that doesn't really help to get into the flow. Well, you probably guessed that already. So how is it that we get into the flow? Well, for one thing, when we're in the flow, we are not judging. We are not thinking about the present, past, or future. We are just there. We're just in the moment. We are concentrated and focus on the task. Focus on what we are doing. It is a lovely state where we feel that we need to have that little bit of concentration, that good concentration, because it's quite challenging. It's not that easy. And on the other hand, it's not too hard, because if it was too hard, then you can get discouraged. So it's about just right. There is that challenge, but not too much. And there's this can-do attitude of, I can make this. I can do it. I can achieve what I'm trying to achieve. So that attitude of, yes, I can achieve is very important. And if you think about it, if you have that attitude of, I can achieve this, I can do this, are you fearful at that moment? No, right? And well, okay, so let's dissect it a little further. If we are not fearful and we are in the flow, right? So we're not fearful. We're concentrated and we have the right attitude, and we believe, we're optimistic. We believe we can achieve what we're doing right then and there. What's happening is that we're not fearful. Okay, so if we're not fearful, why is it that we're not fearful? In other words, why would we be fearful in the first place? When we're fearful, we are actually fearing the loss of something. We fear that if we can't do something well, we might make a mistake. Fear number one. Who likes to make mistakes? Why do we not like to make mistakes? Why do we not like to risk it a little? Unconsciously, what happens is that we think that we feel that if we do something that is not up to scratch, up to your standards, or somebody else's standards, maybe your bosses or your parents or your partners, if what you're doing is not up to standards, then they will not like you. Then you will lose your reputation. You will lose respect. And although that's not true, it's just what you feel at the moment. But we have it unconsciously. So it's about becoming aware of those things that happen in our mind that are actually not very useful. So if we're fearful of something, Then try to observe what's going on when you do things. Are you fearful at the moment? And maybe that's why it's holding you back from really getting into it, getting into that flow and enjoying the activity that you're doing. Enjoying, and I mean, it's easy to enjoy something like our hobbies and our friends, but when we're at work, there are some things that we might not enjoy as much as others. So how do we get in the flow anyways? Number one, let's get rid of that fear. That fear is not real. It's a fear that is imagined. And when you imagine that, you also feel it. And then you're in deeper trouble. So it's about trying to become aware of what's holding you back from enjoying, from concentrating. Or is it just that you're very distracted? That might be another thing. You're distracted with the phone, with this overwhelming feeling of just can't cope with all the work. It's just too much. And then bring it down to something that you can do. It's not about multitasking and doing lots of things at the same time, but bringing it down to this one thing that you need to do that will lead you to the next and the next and the next and the next. Just try that first. And again, think about what is making you fearful. And just try to get into that just for a moment. Not that we really enjoy fear, but just to, just break it. That fear is not helping. So let's get rid of it. And sometimes that does happen, that you could easily just get on to your work, but you're not, because there's something there. You're dwelling on something. You're thinking about things, and they're not allowing you to focus. Not addressing those fears that are making you think all these things, that will keep you from actually getting into it, from getting into the flow. Try that, and let's see how it goes. If you have any questions, you can write to dani.rius@danirius.com, and I'll see what might be helpful further to improve that concentration and that possibility to get into the flow. I'm Dani Rius, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye, and have a great day.